Buddy, the green and red sticker program in California is broken, and they're stealing money from all of us. Tonight, we're going to talk about that live, so join us. Join me. Join Fire Freddy, that's going to be on here in a half hour and tell us about how his XR650 blew a rod, blew a hole through his crank or his crankcase and through his frame, and now he has to throw it in the trash. Okay, so welcome. We're gonna do more of these live shows, and my plan is just to talk about everything that goes around these videos and these adventures that I do, because there's a lot going on as far as bikes, equipment, questions that you guys have that I don't really get to, and I can also, if you want to have any questions, go ahead and type them in, and I will do them at the end of the show. I will address them, talk about them, and that way you guys can get some of my lame ass knowledge on bikes, traveling, and all that other stuff. But tonight we're going to talk mainly on the green and red sticker program that's in California for OHV, and we're gonna get political tonight. So if you don't like politics and you're tired of hearing all that stuff, then you can probably find another channel. But we're going to talk about that tonight because it needs to be talked about, and we'll get right into that. So again, if you guys want to hang out, just hang out, shoot your questions, and I can get to them at the end of the show. But we're going to talk about this program, why it's broken, why it sucks. And then at the end, hopefully we're going to Skype Fire Freddy, and we're going to talk to him about his 650 that blew up on the highway and just basically destroyed a line right through his cylinder and his cases, and then even took a chunk out of his frame, and his bike's completely just worthless. So yeah. We'll get started on that. So let's do this. Let's see, what do I want to do first here? Okay, so... Okay, so here we go. Let's just jump right into this. And this all kind of started about maybe a couple days ago. I got some DMs from people who are not in California, and they wanted to know how all that works. One guy goes, well, I don't want to get arrested or get a ticket. And I'm like, look, I think this will be a good video. So we'll get right into it. So here's the deal. So California has a program, and I'm not going to go in the history of it, but basically they established this, the state and the politicians in California established this, and it regulates the limit of off-highway vehicles that do not meet emission standards applicable for California OHV riding areas. After the regulations were established, ARB and DMV worked together to develop criteria for identifying non-compliant OHVs, and blah, blah, blah. So here's the deal. There's two stickers that you can get when you're buying a motorcycle, quad, UTV, all that stuff. The green stickers are the hippie stickers. Those mean you could ride your bike in a lot more acceptable areas than the red stickers. And the green stickers are issued for all California OHV year model 2002 and older, including those that were previously issued a red sticker, and to 2003 and newer complying vehicles. Green stickers are issued to OHVs for year-round use at all California OHV riding areas. Okay? Now, to give you some examples of what bikes those are, we're talking about like XRs. We're talking about really plugged up bikes, the trail bikes that have just tons of stuff on there. And last time I checked, I'm just guessing this, but your motocross bikes are going to be more red stickered. Okay. Red stickers are issued to 2003 year model and newer OHVs that are not certified to California emission standards. If your OHV has a 3 or a C in the 8th position of the vehicle identification number, then your vehicle will be issued a red sticker. Red stickers are issued to OHVs that can use California riding areas for seasonal use only. Okay, so there's small windows for that. So here's the deal. So I just explained what that is, what that program is. Okay, now when you pay for these stickers, when you buy a vehicle, one of these bikes or whatever these vehicles that have these stickers attached to them, basically. The money that you pay into this, and you don't have a choice, you pay. Okay, so some bikes are 50, some bikes are 100, some vehicles are more than that, but all this money then goes to these things. And I'm going to basically kind of go off the handle here a little bit and just abbreviate. Okay, so think about it. So the government, with these fees, what they said in their law is these fees will go to trail maintenance, rangers pay, organization of structuring for these trails and riding areas. Okay. And this is all sounded good, and this all sounded like a great idea, and for years it worked. Okay. So, however, here's my beef. And here's where it starts to get kind of shady. Okay. So, we'll get to that here in a little bit. I'm showing you all the things we're going to talk about here. Okay, so first, before we kind of go to that article, is what does this benefit? Where's the money supposed to go? It goes to basically, like I said, all the rangers, all the the people who keep the trails maintained, the bathrooms, stuff like this. And if you're not from California, let me kind of structurize it very loosely. Northern California has their riding areas, and then down here in Southern California, it consists of the really small area of mountainous area, and then we have this gigantic desert that seems to be, for a while, all the Democrats would just be like, let them ride out there, let them go crazy, because there ain't shit out there anyways. But all of California riding areas are always under a battle of Democrats trying to take land away, trying to limit land, and they keep encroaching and making it smaller and smaller. Now, here's where it gets here's where back in 2004, okay, I was paying my sticker fees, my registration fees, and I somehow on the news or something, and people in the little camp or my family that we all ride, we started hearing that the state was taking money from that fund and using it for purposes not associated with OHV or people who ride. Okay, so I was still, let's see, I was in my 20s, and I kind of was like a little pissy about that. That was like, I was starting to be like I'm going to get political. And it kind of, I was like, that's kind of wrong. So a couple years went by, and, I just started hearing more of it. And there was another story in the news years later, probably 2009, 2010, where I can't remember who the governor was, but a big sum of money got taken. Like, we're talking at least 30 to 40 million dollars was taken, and they used it for all these other organizations and people who have nothing to do with writing. And you kind of know how this goes. Okay. So, at that point, I was like, I'm over that. And if our politicians ain't going to safeguard that money, and they're going to just rob us, because that's what it is when you tax people for a certain reason, and then you grab that money and you take it and you use it for not what you taxed us for, then that's a big problem. Okay, Instagram, go to YouTube. We'll see you guys later. Okay. So here's what I did, and here's what a bunch of people did in my circle, is we started putting our bikes at non-op. And that's like a $25 fee. It basically tells the state, like, you're not riding it, so you're just sitting in the garage. So that's what I did. I just stopped paying the registration fee because it's not right. And a lot of people, kind of had a problem with that when I did that. And it was like, no, because it's not right. We live in a day now where politicians come up with these great ideas. It gets them into office, we all back them, and then they turn around and then they start spending money that they originally told you, and they put it into other things. And it's just not, I'm not down with that. So what did I do when I was on the trail? I just would carry nothing and take the sticker off the bike. I think one time a ranger stopped me. He goes, "Where's your registration?" I go, yeah, I don't have it. I didn't put the sticker on. That was it. I didn't get a ticket, and that was the end of that. And I've been kind of doing that the last, 15 years. And of course, my street bikes, obviously my dual sports, I have to pay those because those have registration that if a highway patrol pulls me over, then I'll get the bike towed. So I have to pay those. But as far as trail bikes, I'm over that shit, and I'm not paying it. So now, let me, you guys have, I have comments here. Let me know what you guys do in your neck of the woods, in your state. Now, I know other states are a lot better. I've heard nothing but good things about Utah and their system. They spend all that money into their parks, and I've been there, I've seen it, and it's amazing. And, it's something that California needs to get their act together. Okay, so now that I've kind of rounded on that, I'm going to kind of go over these latest articles that I found, and we're going to talk about this Bill 249 that that was supposedly, the way I'm reading this, is 249 was this bill where they can start using OHV money for whatever they want. And supposedly Governor Brown put a stop to that. The way I'm reading it, and please tell me if this guy is, or if this is true, but it says here, and this was written in 2017, that the bill was put into law, and I guess it seals the money off from getting spent in other directions of government. And, so I read that and I was like, okay, cool. And let's see here. There was another one here. Okay. So then I come across this article, which was in 2017, a little later from when this bill was passed. And this talks about, in fact, I'm going to put this in the comments. You guys can go read this. Now, supposedly, we're at a place where they're not supposed to be using money, the OHV money, for other things. But this is what the government does next, or the state of California does next, is they send, looks like up here in Northern California, this Alameda Tesla expansion area, they sell this land. And I read the comments down below, and off-roaders are just pissed off. It paints a picture of this Gavin Newsom, who, this area where this recreational area, they, it wasn't being used, and then like blah, 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 all this like litigation, lawyer talk. And then they end up selling this 3,100 acre of state vehicle recreation area, SVRA, located just southeast of Livermore up in Northern California. And they sell it. So to me, this is like, oh, we'll let them have their OHV money, but we'll just close land and sell land, and then the land's gone, and then they, so they've worked, it seems to me they've worked around it, and now they're going to try other areas where they're just going to, encroach and close more land. Because here's the deal. Here's another way of looking at it, is paying over $100 for a registration on a dirt bike and then not having anywhere to ride it is just straight up stupid. Okay, so there's that article, okay? I put the link in the comments so you guys can check that out. Okay, so then this is what blows my mind next is I come across this article that off-roaders and nature lovers, California wants input on how to spend $36 million in maintenance funds for OHV. Okay, this came out in March this year, March 14th, 2019, and basically the article talks about there's like $36 million up for grabs in Riverside County, and they kind of don't know what to do with it. And they're having all these people come forward, including the sheriff department, rangers, all these other organizations that are just full of shit. Like all these like little organizations that like, we're going to save everybody. We're saving land. They're all fighting for this money. And supposedly they had a hearing. And this is where people can come and do money grab and just grab all. I don't know where exactly the root of this money comes from, but I'm assuming $36 million in Riverside County doesn't just come from tax money. It comes from probably OHV, money that they get in that county. Okay, so here's another example of why don't they have a plan for all this, the registration and these tag fees? Instead, they're like, well, we kind of don't know what to do with it. So I could put this article in the comments below. You can read that too. Okay, so this is just ridiculous. And as far as I'm concerned, I know a lot of you guys have, or two of you guys asked like, well, can I come ride in California? What sticker do I need? If you're out of state, you don't need nothing. Just come ride and just check with your local ranger and see where you can ride. And then when he asks for a red or green sticker, go, I'm from out of state. And then usually he's just going to go, okay, well, he's not going to say nothing. So that's what I would do with the guys who DM'd me earlier in this week. But there was another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about that was really interesting to me. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And they're doing that with every other tax pot that they're getting from us here in California. It's just, And I know you guys that are living in other places in the States, I know. I mean, I've been here all my life, and we're dealing with what we're dealing with here. So, look, we all go through our ups and downs, and who we want in office and who we don't. But so, I guess what I can't find what I was gonna kind of bring up. There was another issue that I wanted to talk about. So here's my thing. Here's my idea of fixing it. I guess I can't have a video and totally complain if I'm not going to have an idea to fix it. And here's my idea. Each branch of government, and here's what's funny is this probably does exist, but why isn't it being implemented? This one article saying they have this money just sitting around. Oh, that's what I want to find. So here's the deal. Where is that article? It is, oh boy. You guys are going to love this. There was an article, and I'm going to try to find this right now, but basically this was like 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe you guys can like help me maybe put the article in the, but this was big. I heard this on the radio, and this just blew me away. Money. Here we go. Okay. This is going to blow your guys' mind. This is the Sacramento Bee. Okay. And this happened, a couple years ago. They lost all the OHV money, or it was hidden. The amount of money hidden by California State Park officials is one of the 2 special funds has suddenly become unclear, preventing the legislature from spending the money to repair and reopen parks. What? The dedicated pot of money known as the Off-Highway Vehicle Trust Fund holds the majority of the hidden assets that officials at the State Department of Parks Recreation kept off the books when they filed annual reports with the Department of Finance. When the scandal was first reported by the Bee on July 20th, officials in the administration of Governor Jerry Brown reported the hidden assets totaling $54 million. The OHV fund held about $34 million, and the balance, $20 million, was in State Parks and Recreational Fund. Okay, so I guess this is cool if like one of those guys in the Off-Way Vehicle Trust like hid this money from these liberals that were going to blow it on other stuff. But look at how they were looking for it. It was like, where's all this money going? Like, where'd this go? We need it. Unlike general government spending for basics such as payroll, paper clips that are all covered by the state general fund, these special funds collected revenue generated at the parks themselves through entrance fees, souvenir sales. The OHV fund serves the state's 8 parks dedicated to off-road vehicle enthusiasts, as well as grants for trail projects. I'm going to put this article in the comments as well, and you guys can read this. Okay. Now, so here's where we're at. So it's broken. I don't trust you guys in California. I don't trust you government officials. You guys can rehash. You guys can say, we made this new. We can do this. I'm not buying any of that until I start seeing parks and riding areas being opened up because of that money. I'm not going to believe it until I talk to rangers and rangers saying that they're getting a raise or things are getting better there. because some of your rangers are throwing you guys under the bus, so you better start giving them some money. So that's where I'm at. And non-op, I just non-op that stuff because it's a joke. And I I don't want to say this because I'm probably going to get flack for it, but a lot of these little tiny organizations that say they're fighting for trail, reopening trails and fighting for land, I mean, that's all great, but when you're doing that for desert, nobody wants desert. A lot of this stuff is affecting Northern California, pristine places that, like up in Tahoe, like stuff that's awesome to ride. Okay, and the only way I'm able to get in there is if I have a license plate, and that makes all of a sudden everything's great. So I don't know. Off-roaders are losing constantly. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if our bikes go electric because mountain bikers are being battled as we speak on the same issues. And it's people that just don't want us to be out there at all. They want us to be just in little dog parks and just going for a jog. They don't want us to do any kind of outdoor stuff. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, here's what I'm gonna do a couple plugs because I need to continue to try to build this channel. First of all, I want to thank everybody for buying souvenirs and stuff off the store. A couple things here before we get to Fire Freddy, we're going to call him here in a little bit, is I want to thank everybody too for watching the High Sierra Diaries. It's I'm getting new followers. I just released a video today on adventure gear, and some of you guys that do trail riding, you probably won't ever get that kind of gear, but if you ever go on a big trip, this gear is like the stuff to get. And First Gear helped out on that, and I appreciate them. But that gear is awesome. I mean, it's like, it really is. I'm gonna wear that stuff on the next Baja trip because you can just shed that stuff and then put it back on, especially in the winter months when it gets really cold down there, and then it gets hot in the same day. So you can really the weather temperature is really up and down. But so yeah, thanks on that. Also, there's some LA Sleeve news. One of my backers, they are gonna do an ad here in Dirt Bike Magazine, and here's what it looks like. It's basically they've supported the Baja Diaries as well as Dirt Bike Magazine. They've supported Baja Diaries, and this is the ad they're going to run here in the next month's issue. And I love it because it has the Dominator in there, and it's basically promoting get back out there. All you guys that have the XR400 and the 650, you guys got to get back out there, get that thing running, and get a buddy and head out. You guys leave in comments. I'm going to get to that at the end of the show, and we'll get to every one of them. If you have any questions or whatever, post it there, and we'll do a little section at the end of the show where we talk about that stuff. Okay, so thanks LA Sleeve for that ad. That's cool. Let's see what else here. What else do we got? We got so if you guys, again, I got a DM this week on how to support me. Actually, two. Another guy wanted to donate to my GoFundMe page, which I will put the link in the bottom description when this video is done. But I have a full store of all the shirts from all the videos that we did. And it's all right there. You can just go on there and look for something that looks for you, and you can support this channel and continue making me make videos. And I think I have a pretty cool store compared to like a lot of YouTube guys. A lot of that stuff is cheeseball. I know I was doing that Teespring stuff a couple months ago, and that was pretty lame. I got a lot of complaints from that, and I just hack that off. So what I will do with this stuff is December, I will eliminate all that stuff on the store, and I will have like a 2020 lineup, and all the shirts will change. So if you don't like any of that stuff, if you like any of the stuff and you're thinking about it, you have a couple months to get it, and then it's going to be gone forever. So, okay. All right, Freddie, let's try to get a hold of Freddie here, because this is going to be a good interview here. Let's see. All right. Is that you, Freddie?
Absolutely. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
Good, sir.
Okay, good. Let me kind of get this screen set up here a little bit. And there you go. Awesome. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about two subjects, and I can't wait because I want to get your. First of all, to fill everybody in, Freddie is a avid hunter and gatherer. Is that a good term for you?
I like to recreation via hunting and enjoy my rights to go out and hunt in the state, what little we can anymore.
Okay, good. Then we're on the same page, because I like to go ride as much as the government will allow me to go ride and whatnot. But if for everybody that doesn't know Freddie was in on High Sierra Diaries 4 and 5, right, Freddie? 4 and 5?
I think just 5
and 6, or just 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so Freddie came up there, and he was actually supposed to be on a couple Baja Diaries, but Freddie is a active firefighter up there in the Kern County area, right? Kern County.
Yep.
And so he missed out on some Baja Diaries, and then we've been trying to get together, and finally he made it up to Kern to do that episode with me, and he bought a brand new XR650R that I told him to go buy. And now we're kind of in a pickle. But before we get to that story, let's talk about the litigation or the restrictions on California, what they're doing to you and your friends hunting up there in Central Valley. What's going on with that? Is it like the red and green sticker rule? What's going on with that?
So for 2019, they implemented non-talk shot for all hunting. Originally, it was in 2010 or so. I don't quite remember. But originally, it was for big game hunting. They specified non-lead projectiles for the use in big game hunting. So bird hunters can go and use their lead shot, go get quail, dove, etc. And if they wanted to go get deer, they had to use a lead-free projectile. That slowly transitioned into now in 2019, it's lead-free completely. And a lot of guys are having to scramble around and find steel shot shells to be able to go and bird hunt and enjoy the recreation. So the state's kind of the alleged science behind all this is that the state scientists originally said that the condors, protected species, they are becoming endangered due to lead toxicity from eating lead out of shot animals that weren't recovered. So that's why we went to lead free for big game, and then now they think it's such a great idea to eliminate a toxic metal from the environment that all hunting is now lead free.
Okay, so do you guys obviously pay for licensing, right?
Correct.
And fees and tags, right? You guys pay for tags?
Correct. So you have to purchase and it's a process. So you have to go get your hunter safety. Then you go and you go through that class, prove that you're competent in firearms and understand the rules and regs. Then you get your license, and then what that license allows you to do is purchase additional tags for elk, deer, pig, bear, and then you can purchase upland stamp or a waterfowl, a duck stamp.
Okay. Now, have you guys ran into where the state takes that money and spends it on researching airplanes, how they fly to Alaska, and how much emissions they,
If you're from the state of California, you realize that our state government does a great job at misappropriating fund monies. So where our monies go that we put into for our hunting licenses or our off-road tags or Newsom's getting in a little bit of trouble here because of the wanting to reappropriate our new gas tax money into other funds. So who knows what the state actually does with our money. It just boggles me. You go to another state, you go to Utah, you go to Wyoming, you go to Nevada, and the roads are really nice. It's no potholes. They have really good off-road programs. Maps are readily available, and it's just like you go and look at how much it costs to register your vehicle in another state, and it's a fraction. It's a fraction of what it costs for us here in California.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, when I went to Utah, I went a few times actually, and one time I was over there for a works race, and I was on the trail, and I came across one of their rangers, and it's funny because he was armed, and he looked serious. So I stopped, and it was kind of weird, but he's like, and then funny, he's like, I'm like, hi, he's like, how are you doing? I'm like, good. He's all, hey, here's our latest map. If you want to go right up there, you sure can. Here, take this, and then that's a great bike. That's awesome. And meanwhile, I'm on a bike with no spark arrestor. But his tone to me was more about promoting what he is looking after. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I thought that was fascinating. I'm like, I felt so when I rode away. I'm like, I want to give him more of my tax money.
And that's not to say you can't find that here in California. I've had many encounters with either fish and game or forest rangers that are, most of them are good guys. They're like you and me. They enjoy going out and either hunting, riding, enjoying our state lands. But it's funny though. You mentioned it always seems like you run across that one guy here in California that just absolutely ruins your trip, and I haven't had that out of state. I really haven't.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Well, let's talk about your XR650 because it actually has really boggled my mind, and for all my viewers to hear this. And I wish there was some way you can text me some pictures or email me some pictures. But anyway, so you tell the story. So. But I'll set it up. So again, Freddie bought this 650. I told him to go buy it because I go, hey, if you're gonna come to Baja, you need a 650. Don't be rolling up with like any of this like, new 4-stroke technology. So he goes and buys one, and not only does he buy one, he buys one which is one of the most rarest ones I haven't even seen before. He buys one with a Baja Diaries electric start kit on it. All right, take it away, Freddie.
So, and it was a communication between Mark and I. I've been looking for a bike, and oh no, you don't want that or this and that. So I found this bike outside of Clovis and pick it up. It's got the Baja Designs electric start, really clean bike. It's been taken care of. The owner, he's like the second or third owner, has all the paperwork documents, immaculate bike. So. Start getting it set up to come and ride and do some photography for Mark on the High Sierra Diaries.
Good job, by the way.
And so this bike has been a little bit of TLC. The guy hadn't rode it, so tires, all going through, putting new oil, and had some electrical gremlins. But I get the bike squared away, go up, have a great time with Mark. I've been using it to go shoot some local photography and commuting. And I'm coming back, what's a week ago now? A little over a week ago, minding my own business, and I hear this odd sound from the motor, and I lose power. First, I thought I threw a chain, and then all of a sudden, a loud boom. What the hell? Bike kind of locks up, so I grab clutch and kind of coasted out, and I go to grab some brakes, some front and rear brakes, and the bike starts getting real funky on me, and it didn't make any sense at the time, so I let off. Didn't crash, fortunately, and just coasted it out. And I'm trying to figure out my mind as I'm doing 75 miles an hour as to what's going on. Get the bike to a stop, and all of a sudden smoke and steam just come pouring out from underneath the bike. So I'm like kind of panicked. I throw the kickstand down, get off, and I start looking, and there's just a pool of coolant and oil on the ground. So I get my phone and put the light on. I'm looking, and sure enough, there's my rod through the cylinder block. So
now you didn't really know the full spectrum of the damage till you got home, right?
No, I didn't know it until the next day. So I see the connecting rod hanging out, and I'm like, oh, cool. I need to go find a new motor. It's great. So I pushed the bike, like I was close to home. It was like 15 blocks. So I'm midnight pushing it home, and like kind of pushing it, looking on eBay, looking for a new P36 motor and whatever. So the next day, I start looking at the damage. I'm like, yeah, I can't get away with just doing a new cylinder. Like the case itself is broken, and then I start looking a little more, and the skid plates broke off, and I couldn't understand why. And then I start looking, and there at the wishbone on both sides, the frame's completely broke. And then I keep looking up, going up the stem, and by where the oil reservoir is, and it's cracked in half. So I was very fortunate that I didn't do an endo or something and go for a little slide on the motorcycle when the motor failed. I haven't had time to kind of tear it down, pull the motor out, and get in there. But the only thing that really makes sense is throwing a cam chain or one of the valves holding open to cause a freaking catastrophic failure like that. It's mind-boggling because that doesn't happen to those motors. So you don't have such catastrophic failure that completely trash a bike. So I'm now.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's funny how I just get the bike dialed in. I get a rack. I get Moscow Moto Reckless pack for it so I can hold my camera equipment, and just getting dialed in to start doing some trails with Mark and on my own. And now I'm on the hunt for another bike.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, so I don't know if you're just joining us. Freddie blew up his XR650R, and he didn't just blow it up, but when he threw the rod out of the case, it sawed a hole in that and the cylinder as well as the frame. And so if any of you guys out there, actually, I talked to a guy this week who has 20 XR650s. I don't know if he was joking with me, but if any of you guys out there, I guess would have an extra frame, right? An extra frame, or what would be the best?
I either basically I need to go through one of two ways: either purchase another plated 650R and transfer all my parts over onto it, or find somebody to repair the frame and source another 650R motor to sink in there.
Yeah.
So
I would. I'll tell you right now. For me, I would just toss that frame. I wouldn't fix it.
I'm right there with you because the amount of damage and how catastrophic it was. Who knows what else is trashed on it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, my followers will help out. I mean, right here I have Troy Hicks. You can hit him up. He's got cases. But I have this guy I talked to, and it was a weird conversation because he commented on one of the videos, and then he goes, you know what it was? It was on the XR650 versus the CRF.
The 400
L.
or 450?
Yeah, the 450L. And he goes, I have 20 XR650s. And I was like, wait, you have 20 XR650s right now? And he just said, yes. So I was like, I kind of poked him like, you're not joking, are you? And he literally said, no, he's not joking. But yeah, that sucks. Well, anyways, we'll see what these guys out here, what we all can do. I mean, it's like, but yeah, well, I mean, I told Freddie just throw the bike in the trash, and that's just heresy. But it's nothing. Well,
and I can either go out and find I can find a California plated XR650R. It's just a matter of if I want to pay what they're wanting, and it's a premium for a lot of these bikes out here that are been kind of road hard. So I'm at a breaking point on whether if I can find another 650R reasonable enough, getting that and transferring all the stuff that I have on this bike over to it, or going out and purchasing a brand new bike, which is starting to sound really appealing.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is my guys here, Troy Hicks, he goes, I only have 3. So I guess the only guys that have one XR650 in this world are me and you. We only have one.
Well, I'll have another one here shortly.
I know you'll have 2, and I'll just have 1. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, Dan the Man on here, he says, if you replace the frame, what makes you think it won't happen again? And I kind of think I agree with him too. You know, it's kind of like
it could happen to anybody. I was just the lucky one that got the bad break. So
yeah, that's true. Well, well, thanks for coming on, and we'll probably have you on again. But we have some rides coming up, and you're looking to get a new bike, so we'll
I have a couple lines on some that aren't horribly expensive. So I'm looking to be up on a bike here within a couple weeks, a week hopefully. Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming on, and I appreciate it. We'll have you on again.
Absolutely. Yeah, everyone have a nice evening.
All right. See ya, Fire Freddy right there.
Bye.
All right. So, okay. Let's see here. So let's move on here to the main. Okay. So Fire Freddy there. That's kind of crazy, like blowing up his 650 and then just having to throw the whole thing out. I mean, he'll part it out, but it's like, I just told him just go get a new one. That one was cursed. Okay, so that's good. Hey Brandon, what's up? Thanks. Brandon, real quick. So I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram story this week, or yesterday on Saturday, but I was at the Huntington Air Show. And I was babysitting, so I had my 2 kids, and we were sitting there. And I kind of know with the lifeguards, you kind of got to give them space or whatever. And I got there before they got there, and next thing you know, the lifeguard comes down, and he's like, hey, you're going to have to move. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, this sucks. I was going to start giving him crap. Before I could say anything, he goes, hey, great videos, by the way. And I just put my head down. I'm all, dang it. All right, where do you want me to move? So anyways, Brandon, thanks for being nice to me and putting up with kind of like somewhat of a attitude. So rad. And I'll come surf in front of your tower next time and we can chat. Actually, I'll next time I'll bring a shirt because you deserve a shirt. How's that? So, okay, cool. So moving on. We'll talk about a couple things, and then I'll let you guys go. But let's see here. Oh, so let's go through the comments real quick. You guys left some here and some questions. Yeah, High Desert Drew, you pretty much describe all of California politics. Yep. Utah's awesome. Yes, it is awesome. Um, this sounds like when they raided the Cal and DOJ and fees for general fund usage. Yep, this is pretty much how it goes. Darren says officials are pocketing the money. Yep. And yes, Padrino, Baja, no license needed. Yes, you are correct, and that's why Baja's awesome. There is, here's the deal. So I can't. These Baja Diaries are getting kind of thick in the pile, but there was the last one. Me and Alex went to the tip of San Quintin, and it's a protected park. And we rode through that. But before we rode through that, we came through, we had to sign our name. And Baja has a program for their protected areas. And I'd like to get some feedback from, I know some of my followers are Mexican citizens down there. I'd like to get their feedback on if they spend their money, to what they said they're going to spend their money on, and how that all works down there with their recreational parks. Because it's corrupt up here. And, a lot of people say Baja's corrupt. Well, California's corrupt with their OHV funds. Raphael, you're talking about jogging in the park and taking your RC cars to the parks. And all of a sudden I can't use my RC cars because they might hurt someone. Yeah. That might happen. Thank you, Troy, Dan. Thanks for all the comments, participating. Why not plate a non-street legal bike? Yeah, I mean, I pretty much plated my 650, and that's where I'm at with that. So that worked. Okay, so there's all the comments for this video, and that's it. So good video. Just wanted to talk about and educate you guys on this red sticker and green sticker garbage. And if you guys aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And I got some great stuff coming, some new things in the works in November. And let's see, Wednesday, which is in 2 days, is probably going to be the last High Sierra Diaries for a while. Not a long while, but at least a couple weeks. Me and Hacienda Gabe, we finish up and ride back to Reno and turn the BMWs in. And next week, we're going to have a video all about, it's a little something different, but you guys will dig it. And we'll also talk about how the BMW, the GS 1250 and the 850 was. And I'll give you guys, like, me and Hacienda Gabe's lowdown on those bikes. All right. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining me. And we'll see you guys next time.